Now, what do you want?
All right. Here's my price.
It is so easy to admire James Cagney. He could do so much. He could sing and dance. He could shoot a gun. He could punch a guy. And he was handy with a grapefruit. He could show up in a light comedy. He could play stone-cold psychopaths, the likes of which had not been seen in movies of the 1930s and 40s. He'd probably tell you that he preferred the singing and dancing, and it is fitting that the only time he won an Academy Award was for his role in Yankee Doodle Dandy, where he danced up a storm.
Yankee Doodle do or die, a real live nephew of my Uncle Sam, born on the 4th of July.
But he was just so good in the tough guy roles. Those who knew Cagney say he was a big-hearted man who loved life. So how did he play those bad guys with such authenticity? He once said that the familiar Cagney mannerisms, the shrugs, the posture, the kinetic energy, his quick way of talking,
I said it was rather hard to think of anything to say.
came from characters he had seen in his childhood. Tough guys from the old neighborhood.
I want you, that's all. And let's get married.
Cagney was born on July 17, 1899. He'd grown up in the Lower East Side of Manhattan. He'd seen plenty of pimps and small-time gangsters in the area hanging out on the street corners, causing trouble. Cagney watched and observed, and maybe he tucked those memories away for future use. When he was given those first tough guy roles, he had plenty in his past to draw from. He also had a friend whose uncle was in an insane asylum. Cagney once visited the man and never forgot the place. He never forgot the screams of the patients. When he had to play a character who was suffering a psychological meltdown, he drew on the past again. As for the singing and dancing, Cagney had performed in vaudeville and on Broadway long before moviegoers ever saw him.
The Duke blew on the hunting horn and laughed, ha ha, when the hounds came running.
Please, don't do as I say. Say as I do. A bit lower. Lower. Yes.
The Duke blew on his hunting horn and laughed when the hounds came running.
Cagney's philosophy of acting was simple. Look the other guy in the eye and tell the truth.
Just a smile. Come on.
Of course, it helped if you looked like Cagney. He was a little stocky guy, a mix of Irish and Norwegian. Somehow he was as New York as Times Square. You just couldn't take your eyes off the guy. What Cagney had was that same thing we see in Clark Gable or John Wayne or Bogart. You watched his movies and you wanted to be just like him, a tough guy who can dance. For film masters and all of the dirty rats who love James Cagney, this is Don Stradley.
Don't wait up for me, Katie.